Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Corey and Kevin Talk About Nothing. If you're tuning in for the first time,
I'm Corey.
I'm Kevin, and welcome to our podcast talk show.
Hello,
Yeah.
you fine gentle people out there.
Fine, gentle people.
Yes.
Interesting episode. We didn't quite have enough time for a second movie, so we're just going with one movie today, and we'll talk about some other things. Kind of like what it used to, the old
absolutely.
days.
No, the old days. The old days.
But the movie that we will be talking about is The Black Phone.
Black Phone.
Which is really cool because, I'm going to get the name wrong, and I do apologize. But the screenplay was written by C. Robert Cargill. And I follow him on Twitter, and kind of seems like he went down like a... what were those things? The contest. Seemed like he went through like this contest route and got discovered. I'm not exactly sure if that's true or not, but it seems like it. This is like one of his first things being created. I think I'm not too sure. All I know is I follow him on Twitter.
Gotcha. And I did actually. I listened to a little bit of because I pre-watched a little bit before we recorded this. So to do a little bit of refresher in my brain and a little bit of things like that, I watched a couple of YouTube videos on the movie. Yeah. And they actually did bring that up. They didn't say anything about a contest winner. They didn't say anything about that. But they kind of like wanted to detail like where he got it from, what this happened, and like some of the meaning behind it. And it's actually I mean, the meaning is the movie, right? I mean, that's the truth behind it. Mm-hmm. But where he came up with and like how he actually talked about how he loved doing what he did for this entire movie anyway. So he's like, a couple things that he said was something about, he's like, I love the fact that, this is my starter. This is my first big go-to film creation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think that for especially like to hear that too, like that's one thing I thought was pretty cool. So for me to hear him say like this is his first one, you're like, this is a good movie for your first flick, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For that whole portion of it,
for your portfolio's got a good one for the
absolutely. So your big for your first big Hollywood. Let me say it that way. You know what I mean? We like to say we got Hollywood films and then we have our independent films, right?
Yeah.
For your first Hollywood film, man, it was on par for a big movie.
This is a Blumhouse feature, which Blumhouse is just like the name of horror nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
But so it almost doesn't feel like super Hollywood. So at least we're like in the middle grounds. We'll say that's why there's only one this time.
For sure.
But no, The Black Phone. Yeah, I definitely had my issues with it, and especially I have an issue overall with the ending because if what happened to the mother and the daughter has the same issue, well, that's a pretty tragic story.
It is. So outside of the normal story?
Yeah, so like outside of the normal story,
is pretty, yeah,
I'm like kind of shocked. Like, wait, are we going to have a second one where like we save her? Because that's not going to be great. No. I knew it was Daniel Faraday as soon as like the paper came down slightly a bit. I'm like, I know those eyes. I know those eyes. Tell me you know about Eloise, all right?
Yes. Please. Please.
Yeah, it was cool to see him, and he's a piece of crap.
No, he is 100%.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely, and yeah,
that was probably like. I mean, it's just like a hard part of the film to watch, just because it's like I don't want that. I don't want to see that happen to kids getting hit with a belt or.
Yeah,
I mean, come on,
100%.
That's messed up.
I totally. Yeah, it is super messed up. Come on, buddy.
But so overall, I did enjoy the suspense of the film, and I really enjoyed Ethan Hawke as the grabber. Wow, man!
I'm telling you,
when he's sitting in the chair with the belt, waiting for you to make that mistake, I'm like, that's fucking creepy, man.
It's super creepy.
Super
creepy. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So now, so my big question for just, and I guess I'm asking this a little early, but I just wanted to ask you this question: how long was this process?
How long was what process?
How long was once it happened? How long was he truly captive?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna guess maybe like a week.
Okay, so you think it's that short too?
Yeah.
I was reading, so I when I was looking it up, you know what I mean. I started on just the internet, right? Just kind of googling it, kind of see, and there was somebody that went out there and said, "Oh, it was like a 2 month process." I'm like, 2 months. Whoa!
They didn't do
Like,
season
what am I
changes.
missing?
They didn't do
Yes.
weather changes.
No, they did
do-
none of
there's
that.
no reason to
Yes.
believe that because he was only like fed like twice.
Exactly.
It was
Thank
like
you.
a
That
month.
yes,
I mean,
that's what I'm
granted, you
saying.
got
So for
toilet water, but
yes, so for him to be like, yeah, exactly, eating with his hands like that, you're like, whoa, like what, like but it did make me think back on it, like, was it really 2 months or was it like
I
a
would
way
say
shorter?
a week to 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
that's what
okay,
I would
so
say.
that's what I was thinking too. Okay,
Because
all right, perfect. So we're on
to
the-
be
we're on the
honest,
same
like
wavelength
it's just
there.
there isn't a whole lot that happens in general, and there's not a whole
No.
lot of victims, and so you know what I would almost say, and he took the kids, you know, more quick than the months. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking it was almost like maybe 5 days because there was probably about 5 victims. I think it was.
Yes,
It'd be
yeah,
about
so-
5 phone calls.
Yeah, because okay. So do you remember the kid that ended up being captured that showed him how to put the stuff in the phone?
Yeah.
Right? So he was in the film. He was earlier. You met this kid,
Right.
Like you met actually 2 of them, actually.
Yeah, you met 2
So
of them,
you know what I
yeah.
mean. So you met 2 of them in the beginning of the movie type of realm. So you're like, wait a minute, where does this 2 months come into play? Like, you know what I mean? Just all of a sudden. Now I don't know if the comment was 2 months in totality. Which then
Oh
maybe,
yeah,
right?
maybe
So
like
the first
it's 2
kid, the
months
second
of,
kid,
yeah,
the
5,
third,
10,
yeah, right,
15, 20,
yeah,
25. Yeah.
maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe. I just think because I think there was a little bit of a gap in between some of them. You know what I
I'd
mean?
say
It's not-
about a month to 2 months of this
Yeah.
guy out on the loose taking kids. Yeah.
for sure,
Enough
absolutely.
for
So maybe
like, them to like not have citywide lockdowns or
Exactly,
curfews
yes.
or parents being like, "You're never leaving this house again."
ever. I'm telling you, because I mean, if I had kids, that
They would never be leaving the house.
we hit number 2, you're in the house.
yeah.
You're in the house. you're
you're in the
homeschooled.
house. Oh,
you're
yeah,
in the
yeah.
house. You know what I mean? You're not leaving for right
Right.
now.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I
I
mean?
mean,
Until this
and I think
monster is caught.
And I think that's where like it really speaks to the strength of this movie is the creep factor in this movie
Yeah.
was completely well done, executed beautifully because where Ethan Hawke is in the scene, you are just unsettled. The Grabber, I'm just going to call him Grabber because that's definitely
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke. That was
No,
a monster.
the grabber. Yeah.
So yeah, I just really think they nailed that. Some of the things, you know, there are a couple of things where I'm just like, all right, you know, it's okay, you know, certain like they made it seem like the girl was like running and they changed like you know they changed like the zoom and and everything, but it just looked like she was running in place and it's just certain things where it's like experimental. It doesn't fall in line with the rest of the way the film is.
Correct.
Those
Yeah,
things
yeah.
are kind of distracting. And there were a couple of other times too where that happened, where it would just kind of take you out. And, but overall, just the fact that like he's sleeping in the cell, and then wakes up and the Grabber's in there with him, like that's creepy, you know.
Yeah.
The phone ringing and him getting all these tips and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. The dreams.
exactly.
Like, okay, we're really heavily leaning into these like religious type of themes, and then it's like, well, they even ask the question like, wait, is it Jesus or is it this mental illness or something like?
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't know, like, so some things were like unanswered to where I'm like curious.
Yeah, for sure.
So like maybe there will be a second one. I don't know. Well, I guess there couldn't be a second one because
There's
Woo-wee.
yeah, exactly.
which very cool.
Exactly. So the one thing I did like that I found, and this is actually before I even like listened to the recap, if they actually went back into it, you know, and because at first it took me a second to like kind of realize this, that, you know, all of these phone calls he's getting, you know, were from the previous things, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna spoil alerts. There's no way around it. So
I think it's in
phone-
the trailer where the phone rings and but go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So with that, I do think that like it was a little bit more. I thought it was really cool of how they tied each one of their ideas and mistakes into this entire thing, right? So I do think like that was cool. You know what I mean? I do think that some of those things were like really fun, but this is where I had one problem with it. Okay, so do you remember the one phone call you got where he talked about the phone wire in the wall?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
So if he tried that, if the other kid tried it, that means the kidnapper, they put the wire back in. Like that's the one thing I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Well,
Like
no,
that,
he hid. Oh, that's
Do you see
an
what I'm saying?
interesting point because he
Because-
would have gotten caught being a naughty boy.
exactly. And then the
So
guy would
how
have ripped
did it
ripped the rest of the wire out, so the wire would not have been back in place in the crack.
Unless he did that, and that
For the
wasn't
setup.
ultimately it, because naughty boy is when they try to escape with the door that's
Correct.
open. So
Yep.
so that could have been like, oh, you tried to escape, whatever. I was gonna let you go because like he has that speech of where like I was gonna
No.
let you go if you didn't lie. So maybe
Yeah.
he would have done that and then left the door open again, and that's probably what,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing most of them met their end that way because when they start, if you don't play the game, you can't lose. So you kind of just you have like almost the limit, the amount of time
Yeah.
until you can't drink or eat.
Correct. So to that point too, one more little small question that I had during this. So do you remember when he took the bathroom apart
Yeah.
and he was trying to go through the wall, right? So they always said in the thing, and this is what the explanations kind of stated as well, is that what they did is he reenacted the same things that these other kids have tried because they were trying to guide them into getting to escape, right?
Yeah.
So why is there not still a hole in the wall? Why is there still not a hole in the floor? Why is there still not like
Well,
that's
because
what
those
kind of
things
gets
got
to me?
filled in. Because remember what the one guy was like, oh, I made him real mad because of the repairs he had to make.
Yes,
So
but
all
the
that's
one
because that's why if you saw towards the end, what he has in his truck, it's like
Yeah.
a bunch of bags of cement. It's a bunch of bags. So
for sure, I see that part I get, but at the same time though, it's the same loose tile. They said, oh, there's a loose tile in there. There's a wire in the crack of the wall. That's all I'm saying. So like so
yeah,
the
it
same
kind of
loose
just
tile,
doesn't add up. Yeah,
It doesn't add up. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not trying to pick the movie apart, but like when I think about it in like the really fine tooth, I guess, it's like, wait a minute. Like I've done these repairs before. You would fix the tile. So the next time, the tile was fixed. You know what I mean?
Well, the tile
loose
was
tile.
fixed. It wasn't loose. He broke it apart.
But it was loose in the corner. Every other tile was fixed. That's the same tile that the same kid had. That's all I'm saying. So the kid that told him about it was the exact same tile. Is all I'm saying. Like that's. And maybe you're right. Maybe it was.
Oh
fixed
yeah,
and
why
everything
would
was
you
fine,
even have
but-
to go to that tile?
Correct. Exactly.
Oh,
That's
because
all
there
I'm
wouldn't
saying.
have been cement. It would have been dirt instead. But why would that happen? Yeah. Okay. I see. What you're saying.
So do you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like those are the little things. I'm like, well, wait a minute here. Like I'm not trying to be nitpicky.
Yeah. No.
Yes. Yeah.
Overall, I really enjoyed it. Jessica really enjoyed it. She actually moved over from the other couch onto mine. It was like we were dating, and
Oh.
but it was really funny because the boy's trying something. She just has the cover up in front of her, like he's behind her. He's behind her. I know he's behind her. And I'm like, I feel like there were a couple of moments that they could have used a little extra, but you didn't get it. But that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah.
think it's like sick because like obvious, but it's a movie. Like it's sick of me because I'm like, oh, it's like not anticlimactic because of what happens, but you almost like he's creepy, man. He's a really good serial
Yeah.
killer. Like he's a
Absolutely,
really
100%.
creepy. So you're almost like, I wouldn't mind a second one. I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
a prequel. Like I wouldn't mind
Yep.
something where you see more of this
Yeah.
character. Because my God,
Because the thing is like
he's
this is the thing. So
terrifying with that.
well,
mask.
absolutely. The thing is, well, what you can also do is, yeah, you can kind of learn a little bit more of why the mask, right? I know that you learn a
Well,
little
yeah,
bit.
like did you make the mask? How, yeah.
Exactly. Yes, 100%. And then also you can get into because one of he did this in another state type of thing, right? To where like, but he actually got away with it. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because
so
of the
he's
mask,
somewhere
because
else
of this.
now, yeah.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So like, you know what I mean? So I agree with you. I mean, because the movie, I feel like I nitpicked it for a second. I'm not trying to nitpick it. There's just little things that have just bothered me about it. But and overall, like you said, I actually highly enjoyed the movie. I recommend this people, and I think it was 4 other people have already watched this movie since I recommended it to them because I obviously I like the movie so much. You know what I mean? So like I really don't want to take anything away from the movie, but there were. Yeah, I can't help but nitpick a little bit.
Well,
Because
yeah,
that's what
it's
we're
not
doing
like,
here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's not a grand slam. Might be a homer,
No.
but it ain't a grand slam.
Exactly. No.
But it gave me like that good unsettled feeling. We didn't have to worry about gore. We didn't have to worry about sick contraptions and puzzles. No, this is like a good old fashioned movie, a horror movie where the character is just so good and creepy. It just any scene he's in, it creeps you out.
Correct.
Great.
So you
The
use the word
grabber.
creepy. Exactly. So I use the word. I think they did a fantastic job with the movie and him. Fear. They put fear. I think that to me, if you can put fear into me, it's a totally different game. Like you said, I'm gonna use the word. I'm gonna use the Saw. Okay, Saw were great films for the first couple, right? Because it was all brand new. But if you don't like the gore and stuff, it's not fear. It's grossness, right?
Yeah,
You're
it's
grossed out
really
by
just
it.
grossness. Yeah,
Exactly. So it's not that fear. So
and you're
you can
expecting most of these people to fail, so you can see these
Yes.
things pop off.
Correct.
So yeah,
They're not making a movie for everybody to succeed. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, not everybody. Yeah.
No.
So that's more or less like where I'm like flown into. I'm like, I loved this part of it. I really did. So yeah.
yeah. That was the first time when he gets that phone call and he's like, "Don't play that game, man."
For sure,
And,
absolutely.
it goes to
Dude.
him like just sitting in that chair in the kitchen with the belt, his shirt off, mask on. Dude just is like, dude, you creep me out, man.
You're creeping me out for
Yeah.
sure, dude.
Ethan
yeah,
Hawke,
that's funny.
nice fucking work, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I agree.
That was
I totally agree with you.
it's refreshing to see because it's almost like this horror genre. You either have like something that's B rated where it's almost like kind of like making fun of itself, or where you just have reboots and reboots or sequels and sequels of the original scary guys, or scary people. So it's like really, I need a Funko of this dude and his mask, man. Like that.
Yeah,
That
for
shit
sure.
was creepy, man.
Yeah, it was creepy. I agree with
It's
that.
haunting.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say watch it. It was definitely a good flick to catch. Obviously we have issues with it. I think it's kind of like what we do, right? We just talk about it.
Exactly. We just
talk about
talk
what
about a
made
movie.
us happy about it. What happened? Like,
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Or
so
the
you know
one
the
other
thing
thing.
on Rotten Tomato. Oh, so go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, dude, it's high. It's like what 86%.
82% right now.
82%.
82%, and then 86 with Google users, 7 on the IMDb.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
a
up
good
there.
one,
It's not.
man.
It's a good movie
yeah.
for sure.
Like
Yeah.
story, conceptual, frame, shot by shot. Yeah, there's a couple of weird things, but overall, it's a solid movie.
Nope.
And dude, the grabber is just so friggin' creepy. But the only thing that kind of made me chuckle a little bit was, the first kid that was taken is basically just like who's the Stranger Things. The guy who rocks out on the guitar. Yeah, why am I loved him. I was so mad what happened. Why can't I remember?
Oh my gosh! Come on.
Yeah, I'm actually. It's only on this podcast that this happens. I swear, because
Yeah, I'm
otherwise,
spitting out
like,
facts every other where I go.
we're just constantly. Oh, who's this? Oh, bam, 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 bam. But of course, I Eddie Munson.
80 months. Jesus, I'm angry.
I'm angry at myself.
yeah.
He definitely, gave the Eddie Munson vibe, where
For sure.
the hair,
Yeah.
the clothes,
Oh, yeah.
the attitude, So
Yeah.
where and that was kind of interesting. The characters like moving around in the room with these goofy moves, and then like you see him later within the cop car with the sister. And doing these moves, I was like, okay, I kind of see where you're going with that, and
Yeah.
not sure if it worked, but I see where you're going. So I guess in that terms it did work, but anyways,
Yeah.
but just overall, I left that movie thinking that's creepy. We were watching Seinfeld afterwards, and I woke Jessica up, and I said, Jessica, hey, I just need you to come down to the basement with me. Can you come down to the basement with me? She's like, get out of here. What are you doing? I'm like, I just need you to come to the basement.
That's awesome.
Didn't work.
No, she went upstairs, right?
Yeah, she ran.
Yeah, for sure.
She
Yeah.
called the cop.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It was a bad joke.
That's where you've been. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah. But feel uncomfortable nights trying to explain a situation. But no, good stuff, man. I kind of hope there is like a prequel, and I kind of hope there is something that might deal more with the grabber, because very interesting stuff. Cool stuff.
Yeah, very cool. And if you go to the acting with majority of the rest, I think the main kid, I mean the last one, I mean he did great. I mean I think that he was, best that he could possibly do. You know what I mean? I think that, I think he did his part in that, you know what I mean? He played that whole realm pretty well.
Oh,
Obviously
yeah.
we talked about the grabber. He played great. I think the sister was okay. You know what I mean? I think her character, her growth was could only been so big, I think, in general, because of like her whole aspect of it anyways.
Yeah, that's where like I like for her arc, I'm like it's kind of left open, because
Yeah.
if they never explained what happened to the mom fully or whatever, then maybe it would just be like, oh, cool. But then like we found out, so we know like eventually, like if she has the same gift, eventually that gift might turn on her and cause her to do terrible things. So it's like kind of left open in that aspect. But
It is.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought the sister did awesome. She had
I think she
had
did.
a
I think she
mouth
did
on
really
her,
well.
man.
Oh, she did 100%. That's why, those are moments that I think that the movie did well for her to create her some sort of character of like when she stuck up for her brother, when she did like small things like that. You know what I mean? I think those were like big for her, because if they didn't do that and there was just this little side story thing going on, that it was a big, but it was actually huge. Like that's the funny part. They made this little side
you're
story
just
such
bypassing a thing. Like you're just dreaming of this stuff. Like
yes.
that's
Crazy.
okay. I
Yeah.
feel like
So
we
like
should talk about that, but okay.
Well, yes. Give me more information. I think, I definitely, I agree with that.
Maybe
highly,
she
so.
becomes the next grabber and can
Ew.
dream of where these kids will be.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's a terrible villain. Anyways,
It is.
yeah. So check it out. Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, please.
Because
Please.
I truly enjoyed. I didn't. I expected to go into this enjoying it. I'm an Ethan Hawke fan, so I expected him to. Dude, I mean, just like the creepy factor when he's just staring at him and he's like, "I'll be back" or whatever. He's like talking to him, and you could see like tears welling up in his eyes. Like, my God, this dude's mentally unstable. But it's also like a testament of the actor of just being able to like really
Produce that.
fulfill the request of this creepy ass character. So.
Absolutely. Well, and if you think about it, I mean, I'm not gonna like put too many factors out, but like think about the reaction that he had as well. I mean, his brother. I mean, think about the brother.
Yeah.
Like I think the brother played a very that helped out with the whole role of everything as well. I think
that was awesome.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think like the whole with the cops involved, with this involved, right? I think it was like this whole thing to where it actually helped deflect. I mean,
Yeah,
really
hey,
did,
there's
dude.
a crazy living there. Let's
Exactly.
not go back there.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the thing. So all of a
Yeah.
sudden, but like,
No,
but the
I
way that,
agree.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So like, at first it was like, the one thing I liked about it too is it almost gave you a vibe that where was his brother the napper, right? Like, was, you know what I mean? Because you just don't know. You just don't know. You have all the setup of it. Is he just selling it this way? No, it was not. You know, like I just think it was pretty fun. Like, I had a good time with it. You know what I mean? It was really,
Yeah,
I was really,
that was good stuff. I liked.
for sure.
I just thought that the comedic relief with the brother was very very nice. And then
Yes.
when the cops were leaving, they're like, "You might want to tidy up a bit." And he's like,
Before your brother gets home.
"Max,
Yes.
And then he
That's what I loved about
snorts it because it's like, "Well, yeah,
Yep.
you gotta clean
You
up.
gotta clean
right?"
it up.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah,
That's funny.
let us know what you thought. 'Cause,
Yes.
I'll tell you what, I'll be looking for a Funko of the Grabber. I'll tell you what, he's gonna figure out a way to get on that shelf somehow.
That's true.
I guess I'll need more shelves, but
You do. As I say, wait a minute before you go too big.
Sanderson's sisters need to go to a different shelves after the second one. You know?
It's funny because
yeah.
that's funny. All right, so I asked you about the clip earlier before we started this podcast.
Yeah.
You watched it. Do you know what I did? Last podcast. If anybody watched this podcast, you know Kevin loved the first one of the Hocus Pocus, and I even put that at the very beginning of the clip. So I said, "You say I love Hocus Pocus," and then it cut. Then it went into your hatred about Hocus Pocus 2. It made me laugh so hard. I loved it because it's a true. It's a true statement though. Like
It's like a
and
20-minute clip.
Exactly. Just so you know, I did go back and rewatch Hocus Pocus 2 again, like while I was playing games
Yeah,
and stuff to kind of give it just
objectively, yeah,
exactly right. You know what I mean? So I just did it again, bro. You're 100% right. It was just as bad the second time I watched it. It's a bad movie. So yes. So yeah, I'm not gonna bring it up. We'll chop it there. But I'm just saying,
actors
Dude, God,
that
yeah.
are
It was
helming
just-
this whole thing. So like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna make more, well, I definitely don't give a crap because you didn't seem to give a crap about this movie. Anyways, I'm
Nope.
not getting back into that.
We're not doing
getting-
that.
I'm
So
not
I just
getting
I wasn't
dragged
trying. Yes, I just thought it was really funny, and I wanted to make sure.
You know what I want to bring up?
So, what's that?
So I had a goal of reading 12 books this year, and
Okay.
I finished that goal, and then I'm overachieving now, which I'm very excited about. But the one of the books that I overachieved, yeah, that's a weird thing to say, but is the Nolan Variations. And
Oh,
my
okay.
goodness, bro. So the
it
book
good?
was written in 2020, and it just so happens that Tenet came out in 2020. So there's actually the last chapter is about time, which, you know, has to deal with Tenet. So it's really cool to have everything that Nolan has put out in this book, where I could get like some, you know, insider scoops and you know, get into the brain of Christopher Nolan. And I'll tell you what, this book was simply amazing. Like, what an interesting director, interesting creator, interesting person, and how things kind of fell in line was just mind-blowing to me, because he was doing the press for his first movie called Following, and his brother was in, I think, college for psychology or something, and was just learning about this brain brain issue where you can't make your short-term memories don't convert, and after 10 minutes your short-term memory is wiped, and you're then wondering
Moving on to
what
the next
hell's
one.
going
Yeah.
on. And that's like the whole premise of Memento. Well, they were on a road trip, Christopher Nolan and his brother Jonah. They were on a road trip, and he's like, and Jonah's like, "Hey, let me tell you about this little short story, this idea that I have about this guy who wakes up in the hospital, has no more short-term memory, and he's trying to figure out, you know, solve this murder, and he's got tattoos all over his body, reminding him of what facts he knows." And so he was like, Christopher Nolan, so Jonah said, if Christopher's ever quiet, you know you've captured his attention. And he's like, it's the most quiet he's ever been. And right after that, Christopher Nolan was like, can I write a screenplay based off the short story, and bam, that's Memento.
Okay.
So then after Memento, he does a studio flick of Insomnia. It's a really great film, and in the book, he even says it's one of his underappreciated films, and I agree. Nobody ever talks about Insomnia, and it's like a really good movie. But it was his first studio budget, working with like Al Pacino and other, bigger actors. So it was like this real big exposure. And then he goes on to do, what was it? Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which he didn't really know that much about that universe, but what they did is apply the knowledge that they did have and build out this whole thing. And so in between Batman Begins, he puts out The Prestige, which is an incredible story that is kind of based off of a couple of things that him and his brother were talking about. Yeah. So it's just like all these influences that you learn about that went into writing and crafting these movies was just mind-blowing. Because after he had done The Prestige, he did The Dark Knight. And he knew after The Dark Knight how successful The Dark Knight was. He knew he could do whatever movie he wanted next. And so Inception, he actually started writing while he was in school, but couldn't finish it. He didn't know how to finish it. And then he had like a couple of kids at that point, and then worked in this emotional aspect and was able to finish it. So then he made Inception.
Okay.
Dude, Interstellar, his brother Jonah was writing a screenplay for Spielberg for the studio. And Spielberg actually moved studios. And so the screenplay just sat there. And Nolan was like, I've got this great idea. Could I use it? And they're like, yeah. And that became Interstellar. So it's just amazing, like these just bricks fall in line and how everything is created. But like, and then like this like appearance, like, oh, this is a Nolan film. Like, to expect something bigger, something more thought-provoking, something more deeper. So like, it's like its own universe now. And it was just incredible to see his thought process along the way, how it became that way. And dude, it was just an incredible book.
It sounds like it's a phenomenal book. Like, listen, I'm not a big reader, but I mean, Christopher Nolan is a fantastic,
Yeah, it's kind of incredible. And I think one of the most interesting things is, so he lived a life where he moved between Chicago and London, back and forth a lot. And he went to school in London, but family lived in Chicago, so he went back and forth a lot. He has an English accent, but his brother Jonah, who was raised in like Chicago and the public school systems, he has an American accent. So I would love to just like have a conversation with the two and be like,
yeah,
you're fucking brothers? What?
Yes. What? Yeah, that's wild.
Both like equally as talented. I mean, to think like, going into this book, like I knew just based off of the credits that, I think they call him Jonathan Nolan in the credits, not Jonah. In the book they call him Jonah.
Okay.
And he's credited with, writing and all that stuff. And he's with, the Syncope group. But to know now of like this bigger, heavier influence of some of my favorite movies, I'm like, well, that's absolutely astounding,
Yes, absolutely.
Because obviously, Christopher Nolan is directing and,
he's creating the movies.
Right.
Yeah. No.
And he's taking these short stories and turning them into screenplays. But the original thought, the original ideas, the original characters, like all this stuff is a combined effort. And it's absolutely
that's
stunning.
Really cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really, that is really sweet.
So, yeah, I have just loved that book. I was just blown away by the amount of care and detail and love for cinema that Nolan has. I mean, it's incredible. He's really just wanting to show his love for cinema. I mean, that's
absolutely. Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah. And then
So
it's
was this like an? So I'm sorry. Was this like an autobiography for himself, or did he kind of like do this movie? I mean, his book himself, or
no. So there's this guy named Tom Schoen. That's who wrote the book.
okay?
And he's written books on Martin Scorsese and a
Got
whole
it,
bunch
okay.
of others. So
Yeah.
he
Okay.
sat down with them for a real long time so that, any prolific type of director, he's going to kind of try to, write about or whatever. But
Yeah. Okay.
I think, like, since Nolan's, I've never watched Following. That's the only movie of his I haven't watched, and I'm trying to find it so that I can watch it. But knowing the full catalog of Nolan, I mean, it is its own genre, you could say. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we were just saying, oh, it's a Nolan movie. Oh, okay. Well, you know exactly what that means. You might not know the genre, but you definitely know to be like, your brain be open.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a new movie coming out. I think it's coming out 2023, and it's about Oppenheimer. And Oppenheimer is the guy who created the nuclear bomb. And it's interesting because reading the book, when I'm reading about Tenet, it's very interesting because the whole premise of Tenet is they're trying to go backwards in time to disassemble the nuclear information and separate it. Because if you could go back in time and just wipe out all the information about nuclear weapons, you would
Yeah.
you would avoid a lot of heartache of just like knowing these things could go off or somebody could use them, right? So
Yeah. Absolutely.
it's like dealing with a whole different stress level where like at a certain time you didn't have that stress level, which I just thought was interesting because at a certain point in life you didn't have to worry about nuclear weapons. And then after World War II, you had to worry about nuclear weapons, which is just mind-blowing, right?
Yep.
So Oppenheimer, having seen this thing being tested and also seeing it being used, had this overwhelming like guilt of like, what have I done kind of thing. Once you've created it, it's out of the bag. There's no containing it.
There's no correct.
So Tenet was so cool because that's what they're trying to do is reverse that.
Yep.
And when the film wrapped for Tenet, Robert Pattinson had given Christopher Nolan it was like a diary from Oppenheimer or something from Oppenheimer, and it was given to him. And I just thought that was interesting that boom, our next movie is going to be about Oppenheimer, which the cast on Oppenheimer looks insane.
I'm gonna look into it. I don't know much about it. So just real quick, you mentioned The Following, right? The movie
Yeah,
from 1998. Okay.
yeah.
It actually says Sling and Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I searched Amazon Prime and you can't watch it. You can find it, but there's no way to watch it.
Oh, got it.
So
Okay.
I'm probably gonna have to just find it on DVD and
Yep.
just buy it that way. So
Got it.
it's
So
not
I'll
on
keep my eye
Vudu
out.
or anything. And
Gotcha. I'll keep my eye out because I have 3 people, three people, but sorry, 3 people right now that have a huge DVD collection
yeah,
that is like literally just giving away DVDs right now. So I'll reach out. It's
Yeah,
probably not
yeah.
a big one on their list, but at the same time, though,
that'd
I'll
be
do it.
wild if it was. But that'd be awesome.
But I'm also gonna say it must be pretty good because it's got an 81% on the old Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.5 on the IMDb.
Yeah. So it's a Nolan film.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's interesting because what does Tenet get right now?
Let me look for you. Are you already on it?
No, I'm looking up Interstellar. Because Interstellar is a 73%. What's Tenet?
69.
Okay, so that's the lowest. It blows my mind, and I think I've said it a million times on this podcast about how Interstellar should not be a 73%. That's a 99% movie right there. 99. So it's just interesting because like the real deeper ones,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a slightly selector audience for that.
Oh, for sure, 100%, absolutely. Because I mean,
Where you
I'm
have
not gonna
Batman.
lie,
What's Batman? What's the Dark Knight?
Oh, dude, that's probably huge. But I've had multiple people that watched Tenet that I've talked to about movies and stuff like that. Like a couple of people that actually would like, all right, you have a good opinion. I'm just, but I'm just saying, and
right,
actually,
right.
and a lot of them are, it was a mixed bag. Actually, I had
Yeah.
people that loved it, people that are like, nah, I didn't get it. I didn't love this movie. And we're like, ugh.
It's
Are
crazy.
we
to me, 'cause
friends?
it's-
But I'm just kidding.
it's
Anyways,
like,
no, I'm just kidding.
if
But
you
yeah,
like
yeah.
James Bond, what restricts you from enjoying this movie?
Thank you.
I don't
Thank
get
you.
it.
Yeah,
It has
absolutely.
everything that the Bond movies have, except maybe a little more technicality.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more fringe. Just
Well, yes,
because of
absolutely.
the-
And yet, and I think the thing is that James Bond is more of like that action type of whole thing, but at the same time with with Tenet, you have to use your brain, man, and I just think that's a huge problem with people. I just think in general,
I
sometimes
just think people
that's
shut
what
off.
it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because
So all of a sudden you're like, oh wait a minute, why? Oh wait, oh nope, I hate it.
you're like,
Sorry.
oh, so I have to think about how this is, and it's like, not really. Just enjoy it. Like,
Enjoy it
it's-
what you're
it's-
watching.
There's a quote in the movie Tenet where she's like, "You just have to feel it." And that's it.
Oh, yeah.
You don't
That's
have
it.
to understand what's going on.
Yep.
Just feel it. Anyways,
Yes,
I
yeah.
love that movie. And so, anyways, The Dark Knight, dude, gets a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, which it's really interesting when they go through Batman Begins,
Yeah.
The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises in the book. It is so interesting how differently they tackled those movies and what they thought about how to structure these movies. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. Like,
Really?
the first one's all about like how he begins, but he has to basically betray the ones that created him, just
Okay.
because he didn't agree with their ideals. The second one, we're dealing with pure chaos and action
Yeah.
because of the Joker, and the third one is all about this destruction of the free world, civilization ripping apart, Bane basically causing the rich to collapse and the poor to eat them alive. So it's just super interesting, these fears that they've written themselves into and each stage of these movies. It's just an incredible book. If you love Christopher Nolan, I mean, you don't have to love the guy. If you love his movies, let me
Yeah, I was
really
gonna say, yes. Yeah.
because even Dunkirk, I mean, Dunkirk was an amazing movie. Just
Yeah.
It was a war movie that's done differently. But yeah, if you really enjoy Christopher Nolan films, and you kind of want a deeper dive into the mind of, check out the Nolan Variations by Tom Shone, Shone. It was phenomenal.
Gotcha. I'll have to. Like I said, I'm not a book reader, but I mean, you're selling this to me very high end here. So.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. The more books I consume, the more I'm a book reader. Like a lot of
Yeah.
my free time is just, I'm like, oh, I'll just read some books right now. Right now I'm reading The Big Short.
Oh, nice. Okay, I've heard a lot of people read that movie. Read the book.
I love that movie. That movie
Yeah.
is a great movie, and it's so informational about the crappy stuff that happened that caused the 2008 financial crisis. And this gives you, so I've already seen the movie like probably 10, 15 times already, so I already kind of know.
Yeah.
It's just it's cool to read the book because the movie does change some things. So it's just interesting to read about these characters more in depth.
Yeah. Now, was the book first or the movie first?
The book first.
Okay. Which that's normally what happens, but I just
Yeah.
figured that.
Yeah. So yeah, the book came out and Adam McKay made the movie out of the book, which you could definitely see where it got everything from the book. I'm about halfway through at this point, and it's amazing what these banks got away with, but it's like incredibly criminal, man.
Real. Yeah.
Incredibly. What's really cool is probably had to have been maybe early spring. I go on Nextdoor. It's an app that we have, and they have a buy sell type of page.
Yeah.
And I'm just like scrolling through, and I saw that this guy was just selling huge boxes of books for cheap, and I'm like, well, if we ever got like a nice bookshelf, we might as well fill it up.
Yeah, for sure.
We got
Yeah.
a ton of really awesome books. Honestly, these books are worth way more than I paid for the entire
general.
lot, you know. So
Got it. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool in general. But it was really cool because The Big Short was part of it. So I'm like, cool. I'll just read this one next. Very cool.
Done
Excited.
and done.
Yeah. This is the 14th book I'm reading out of 12, so I'm very excited.
That's
I read
awesome.
14 last year, so I got to hit 15.
And so you got
hit
2 more
15.
months.
I know. I'm almost
60.
done. I'm halfway through with 14, so 15.
Yeah.
15's gonna.
No, it's easy. That's easy work. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Exactly. So
So yeah. So the other thing that we're getting into, which I gotta buy some PS, which is, it blows my mind that it was this long ago. I gotta re-up on PlayStation Plus.
yeah, when I got the text when you put that thread, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, because I
Hold
bought.
up.
I thought I bought like 3 or 4 years worth.
Yeah,
And then it must have been 3 years because it's up.
yeah,
Like,
that's crazy. Yeah, that's insane.
So yeah, I'm gonna re-up, and then we're gonna be playing some Call of Duty here soon.
Yeah, I think we got. I think we got a couple weeks. Like I just think.
I know,
think
yeah,
out too,
because you
right?
said it
Yeah.
was. Well, no, I thought you said it was October. Oh yeah, you better search that up.
I got you.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna be like, hey, if you've tuned in and you're still listening at this point, make sure you hit that like. Make sure you hit that
Yes.
subscribe. Tweet us out. Hit us up at CoreyKevin1. Email us, cktalkaboutnothing@gmail.com. Interact with us. We're just sitting here.
Yeah.
When
And let
we're
us know.
not podcasting, we're still sitting here.
Exactly. We're just waiting for your tweets
Waiting.
and your emails.
Anyways.
So
when does,
anyways,
Call of Duty come
October
out?
29th. At 10 days.
Oh, perfect, dude. So yeah, we'll be.
dude, I mean, all out.
I am very excited.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, we'll
Gotcha.
be
Yeah,
talking about that soon, I'm sure.
absolutely. So,
Well, you got anything else for us?
no, I don't. No, I really don't. I did fail. I meant to, when I got home today from work, look at movies that we could talk about next time. Do you have
Oh,
anything
yeah,
in line
for-
of what you're looking for?
Oh, how
really don't.
about? Okay. How about? There's a new one. I think it's on Netflix, and it's called something in Ohio. I don't remember. It's a horror movie. You know what I'm
You're
talking
talking about the devil in
Oh, no,
Ohio
no,
or
no.
something?
What about The Watcher? What about The Watcher? Is that a series? Oh, it's a mini series, but that's okay. How many
Yeah.
episodes? Oh, it's only getting 41%. Oh,
Well,
Ryan Murphy. Mm-hmm. Probably just American Horror Story.
exactly. I'm saying it's got a 31%. That's what I'm saying on the old Rotten right now.
What does The Watcher?
The Watcher.
That's awesome. I'm trying to see what this Ohio one is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you sure it's not the
Devil?
Devil in Ohio?
That's it. Devil in Ohio.
Yeah.
Let's watch that one. We live in
All right, well,
Ohio.
that's-
Let's find
that's
out.
Not, that's not a movie though. Just so you know, it's another miniseries.
God damn! Really?
Yeah.
Man, what the hell's up with that?
Yeah. Okay. And then actually, so real quick, my very last thing I have to think about while you're looking up something else. So remember we talked about the Terrifier
Yeah.
and then the Terrifier 2?
Yeah. Have you heard the reports of the Terrifier 2?
Dude, it's crazy. Like I've actually heard some things that like people tweeted out and saying that the one dude had to call the ambulance because he actually threw up and passed out in the thing, and they had to call the ambulance for him. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? And then do you know this thing's got an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes right now? I mean, it is
right.
insane. But
All right. Screw everything then. Let's watch the Terrifier for the next
Okay.
one,
all right.
so we can figure out how to watch the Terrifier 2.
Yeah, so the Terrifier 2, it's actually, because it actually is so big and blew up so well, they're actually doing a second theatrical release and in more theaters, just so you know. So we'll have to figure it
Is
out.
this streaming at all?
The
Just in
Terrifier
case we
2
can't-
or the Terrifier?
Well, Terrifier 2, just in case we can't get to the theater.
Not that I know of. I didn't. Oh, wait. No, I think we could watch the original one on Amazon Prime. But I don't think it's streaming anywhere. Because, okay, so the other one I was thinking about, sorry, my brain wasn't working, is Halloween Ends. That's the other one that I was thinking about.
Yeah, I haven't seen Halloween Kills yet.
No, so I'm good. So that's the one. That's why I didn't bring it up, because I'm like, but that was the other new one. I'm like, wait, there's another new Hollywood. But yeah, so
Let's watch Terrifier.
Okay, we'll
and then we'll
perfect.
figure out how to watch Terrifier 2.
Cool. We're in.
Alright.
I'm in.
Rock solid. All right,
Justice.
let's end this damn thing.
All right. Thank you guys. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Noties. Yeah. Hit them all. Hit them all. Hit them all. Hit them all.
Hit them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, and have a wonderful time.
Yep. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.